We created a paper called Serverless Computing Architecture, Security, and Quality Analysis for Backend. Lots of word basically means we compared three different cloud providers: AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Platform, and then compare those services with the web application, typical web application architecture. So we did that, and Sam said that we could improve it more and send it to a conference, and then it got accepted to CISSE conference, and we both of us went there, presented the paper, and tomorrow is the deadline for the revision and changing it to CISSE format. I mean journal type format. And I guess I could also show you the never mind. Don't need to show that it was accepted. But basically, we got the next to the highest mark of like we accept and no need to change the paper. Okay, so we just changed the format. So basically, again, three stuff here. Kevin needs to change the email because of stuff. So again, we started with the introduction talking about the traditional way of you provisioning your web application, having your own server, and let's say it's a big e-commerce business, having your own data centers, right? And then now we move on to cloud computing, where you just, at the click of the button, you would be able to provision servers, again, like Windows or Mac or whatever, Linux. And again, you just click with, let's say, AWS, and now you have that computer machine or server that you can deploy your application. And again, but again, with cloud computing, you still have to have system administrators to provision that for you, manage, operate. Again, even though it's just through the computer, still, you have to manage it on your own. You have to monitor it. You have to check if its health is good or not. Again, if we move on to make things better, we go to serverless computing. Now, as a developer, you don't really need to think about, oh, am I hitting this traffic, load balance, whatever, or am I, do I need to monitor? No, you don't need to do anything of those. You just go to your command line or a GUI, and you just deploy, let's say, an infrastructure as a code, and you should be good to go and develop your app. So we are trying to focus on the components for serverless computing, and we talked about first with this picture, a typical web application. You have the client, which is the browser, and the browser can either go to access the file storage, and that file storage can be monitored, or another route is if the user using the client wants to interact with the web application, that is through going to the backend server, which is the compute server, but before that, it has to be authenticated, and also once it's authenticated and it reaches the backend server, does the necessary transaction, does a CRUD operation on the database server, and all of these can be monitored. Okay, and you can implement that on your own, but usually the struggle is buying the server, paying for this tool, trying to create this on your own, very risky. You might not have it very secure, and that's why we kind of propose of a way that you can implement that using AWS products. So you can have, let's say, CloudFront, then S3, and then it has a key managed service again as well as for security. And the other way around, if you want to interact with the database, you go to this is the compute server, but before that, you have to be authenticated here. Okay, and then this is the database, a NoSQL database, and then all of them can be monitored. And what's good with that is with just CloudWatch, it comes free out of the box. If you want more insights, you just have to pay more. This one, the API gateway manages your API calls. Cognito and IAM also is free. Go ahead.
Are databases also spread out on the cloud, or is that consolidated in one area?
So you can put your database server, you can check what region you want. Yeah, and basically you try to wrap them all in one virtual private cloud so that they exist in one virtual space. I think, yeah.
Also, they have a different types of database. For example, there is a DynamoDB, is that one key values and NoSQL data. or if you have Oracle database, that's a relational database, or RDB, that's an in-memory database. There are many different types of database nowadays. 20 years ago, only Oracle. Now look at that. Oracle is losing market. Can you hear a lot of gossips and rumor? Amazon may purchase Oracle, something like that. The database market also changed.
So right now, that's why a lot of people are going to NoSQL databases. It's because right now, memory is very cheap to procure. It's fine if you have a lot of a big memory. I mean, a database that eats a lot of memory instead of having a SQL database and you have to make joins with different tables with different servers. So that takes a lot of time as well. And then again, we could also do this the same for Azure. This one is very simple, but we can also make this complicated. But again, this is as simple as a serverless way. Is you just have your code, Azure functions. Again, this is the compute layer, and this is the database, and that's it. And then let's see what else. So I can summarize this quickly. So we have the different tools: storage, S3, cloud storage, Azure Blob, API Gateway, Cloud VPN, VPN Gateway for AWS, GCP, Azure, and this stuff. So I'll skip this because this is just names. So I can just show you a table. So basically for the storage service or file server, security is already given to you. Encrypted at rest, encrypted in transit, meaning when data is at rest, meaning just sitting there in the server, it's encrypted. If it's going to be sent through the network, it's still going to be encrypted. And again, quality assurance is high in terms of read, write, and durability, just because you're able to write and again read to the database as much as you want. Again, they would charge you minimally for the writes and reads. They do have different computation. Like Amazon would have read capacity unit, write capacity unit. Google Cloud Platform would just have query per second or whatever.
Yeah. Go ahead. Just look at the table too later before submission.
Oh, I submitted it.
Already you submitted?
Yeah, because no one's reviewing it.
Now
Yeah.
the format I found there's something not aligned. Did you see that durability I?
Mm-hmm.
The law should be the middle, but one is the top, one at the middle.
Okay.
But they're both the same endings. So if one said like medium, I would understand. But they both say high across the board.
Yeah, we found that all over.
Yeah, that one is during the
Oh,
research,
yeah,
and then because everyone really gives like a comparable, and this is, I guess we explained it more in the paper that this high is comparing to a traditional way, that it's the traditional way you would have low quality assurance or harder or more expensive. This is all explained in the paper, but yes, you're right. In the table, that this doesn't really make sense.
So the data encrypted at rest.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the cloud disperses everything, right? But one solid piece of, like, let's say one person's password, is that considered one unit that goes somewhere, or does it break apart the encryption password and spread that out? And if so, how does it rejoin itself?
That one I don't know the answer to actually, but this is based on research on just.
I believe you. I'm just genuinely curious.
Yeah, I just don't know
Put that
the
together.
nitty gritty as well. Yeah. Next would be. So what? Just to give you an insight as well. So basically, when we compare it, it's like all of them have the same, right? But all of them have the same disadvantages as well. So going to the monitoring, quality assurance, they all hit yes, just because if you try to implement your own authentication tool, which is pretty bad, because someone is already doing it, and they're doing good at it. And again, their main selling point is providing the service. So they're better than you. So you should just focus on your business logic instead of trying to do whatever's there already. Okay. Next is I think that one. Free IAM roles. Compute and backend server. This is one thing that if you're going cloud computing, serverless computing, compared to the traditional cloud computing or serverless, they're all the same. meaning there's no security in the compute layer. You have to do it on your own. So if you have bad code that you put in your Lambda or Azure functions, you're dead because you deploy it. It's your own code.
But the cloud provider has some responsibility for security as well, right?
So let's say you have deploy the code. Let's say that can be cross-site scripted. So you can't do anything about it now because you deployed that code. You may have monitoring tools to help you and highlight that.
Right. Okay, but if someone hacked the cloud and then gained access, then the responsibility shifts, right?
It looks like USA, our army will protect our nation. Does not mean they have to protect our house. House is our responsibility.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
So again, the usual term that they use is the cloud provider is responsible for security of the cloud, if I'm correct, and then the developers are responsible for security of the cloud. I mean, in the cloud and off the cloud. We can quickly check that
Now
actually.
that's the issue with the software design. Even if you provide it all over the inside and you didn't follow the input data validation, your web application running on the cloud, they will protect yours. Bye-bye.
So this is a really nice image that shows the responsibility model. Here we go. Responsibility of the cloud is the cloud provider. Security in the cloud, customer is the one responsible. This is the developer. Okay, so infrastructure-wise, AWS will be accountable. But whatever you deploy that's not secured, you're responsible for it. And again, cloud providers will try their best not to really get any responsibilities, right?
Sam, you have you own the company, you have your own internal IT department, am I correct? So when you have an internal data department, or you can use the Alibaba, okay? In this case, you can compare you are using cloud or you are using internal IT department. In terms of infrastructure, I think Alibaba may be better. Why? They are a big organization, they have to support many different services, right? Generally, we can say that. And then, however, we have a very good infrastructure. Let's say we are using Alibaba. Even Alibaba inside the data layer, they are taking your data. That's also another issue. Also, you are developer using Alibaba, then one of know everything to Alibaba, then developer also has to know it. That's why security is not a single person's solution, total solution. From that infrastructure to the data and data governance and also risk management. That's why this is something really hard. But generally, we have the AWS, this one, then, for example, performance issue. You have to, this is healthcare data, you have to follow HIPAA, there's education data, if you have to follow something, this is accounting data, it has to follow something. That part is better than traditional internal IT infrastructure.
And another thing, just to emphasize on responsibility, let's say you have pictures of passport that you store in an S3 bucket, but the S3 bucket ID that you put is very easy to dictionary attack. So let's say the name is S3 bucket Corey. For sure, someone can crawl and hit that S3 bucket and access your files, especially before the S3 default is public. But recently, I think a year ago, they set the default of your S3 to private, which is they should have done it in the first place, right? Yeah. Yeah. So.
AWS, they are similar to Alibaba websites.
Yeah, Alibaba is
both Amazon web service and Alibaba web service are available. You can access in China.
Right.
But one issue, I think, for whatever Alibaba or Amazon web service, you need to pay extra to get the security, what we call security enhanced. Or they have like a package for you.
Right.
But you need to pay for extra.
Right.
But okay, based on other, what security, what kind of security you need. For example, for your attack protection or some other, we have a lot of choice you could use that for your security
Yeah.
something like that.
So even if you are not paying money, then you have to do this one internally. Do you know how much it take a report from IT department? Yes, sir, I did that. Actually, they did it. Then who is checking that one? Right. This one. If we messed up this one, let's say Alibaba is messing up the security for business X. Is messing up the all business YZ. They are losing their market.
Right.
In terms of that, they will be much stronger.
Yeah, so again, going back to compute layer is that one of the good things is you can scale in and out based on real-time traffic. Again, you can't do this in your regular office space, and you have to buy servers, and you have to wait 2 weeks before the server comes in, and now it's Black Friday. Unlike going to a cloud provider, they can just scale up anytime, gives you server, and then after Black Friday, it scales down. That's really a good thing, and then you pay as you go, I guess.
Now you can look at a lot of use in Amazon and Microsoft that they are competing. Microsoft is gaining a lot of cloud market. Do you know that? Why? Amazon is doing e-commerce because of the people. Somebody they are selling something in Amazon. They know that there's a transaction. They may use this one for their own purpose. Because of that, I saw that the Salesforce.com. There's a very well-known
Like SAP.
retail area that now they are making deal with what? Microsoft, not Amazon.
Yeah, this is a issue.
DoD.
Yeah, you can, that's,
I just said and the DoD.
yeah, you're right.
That's a huge chunk.
I
That's a
think
big
that-
check.
Yeah, that's a problem for Amazon Web Service actually for their cloud. Many users are afraid their grab to their user data for their commercial use.
Right.
Right. Even in Asia, in other countries, we have this kind of issue too, because they are. But at Alibaba,
Yeah.
I'm sure they will grab to all their user service.
Yeah.
Alibaba, they don't care about China. No, but security, we can say. But here, I don't think I think Amazon Web Service, the cloud service,
I think if
can compete with Microsoft. I think so.
right, Microsoft is telling, I'm not hurting your business, okay? We are providing
Right,
technology.
right.
And then Amazon, they are saying, no, I'm not stealing yours, but it's not gaining trust. Maybe someday they have to have some breakup company. AWS is the cloud.
Yeah.
Amazon is the e-commerce. Hey, we are not sharing or something. Otherwise, a lot of big companies
Right.
who are doing the business, they want to use Amazon cloud.
I agree with you. Yeah, that's a problem on their cloud service.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll break up.
Yes, but now, for example, now even the military cloud, Microsoft.
I've really had two.
Trump did not
They
like
have
it.
separate ones.
Yeah.
They have AWS
And
public and private, and they have AWS military cloud. Completely
Yeah.
different cloud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even the users
Customer
still
will
have some.
care about the security, not the technical things. They will.
And accessibility and disaster recovery.
Yeah, so again, for disaster recovery and usually cloud service provider provide, I think, 11 nines, 9.9, 10 more nines, 9.99999, no, 99.99999. So, okay. So it means that if a meteor would hit us, this has a higher likelihood that a meteor would hit us rather than that failover of the 99.9999. And again, going back database service, you have already data encryptions and also quality assurance. The throughput you have unlimited actually for read units, and again because it's a pay as you go model, it's up to you if you want to keep paying a lot. And also for recovery, generally they have 35 days, 30 days, 90 days. This is like the think of it like a soft delete. Because soft delete now is a very important tool for development, just because a lot of code base have been destroyed by accidentally deleting everything, right? So right now, a lot of tools and cloud service providers are providing soft deletes. You delete it, you thought it's really gone. No, it's still there, persists for how many days? Stuff like that. Yep. And then let's say logging and monitoring. You get insights right away, rapid discovery, uptime monitoring, create fast fixes. And a lot of companies, APIs, like for example, T-Mobile, they're trying to build monitoring on top of monitoring to get more insights, right? And right now, I've seen a lot of API companies do that. Okay, get this tool, you'll get more deeper insight. And I've been listening to a podcast lately. I forgot the name, but this one is really good because let's say you got DDoS, or let's say a user just messed up a login or whatever. It actually saves a session that how the user interacts with the GUI, and you can just go ahead and replay what the user really does.
Session recording.
Yes. I don't know if that was a new thing, but I know this
Not
is
good at all.
yeah, boo. But it's a really good debugging tool. But I know privacy. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Facebook does that.
Yes. Yeah. So aside from that, API access type. We can skip that already because we're talking about cloud tools. We can talk about architectural considerations. You have, for example, ephemeral functions. Kind of forgot what ephemeral is. Functions are deployed in a container that they can persist for a certain period only. Okay, don't use large processing requirements. So they have a short lifespan. So after a while, you don't use it, it doesn't, it goes away. Cold start, again, some functions, I believe a lot of cloud providers already fix this, the latency when, let's say the Lambda function hasn't been used for quite a while, they kind of shut it off. So you have to start it again. Let's say an EC2 instance as well, you haven't used it for a long time, and that option is you shut it off, right? And then now you have to access it again. Someone hit the URL, and it has to load again because it hasn't been hit for a long time. So that's cold start. Limited DB configuration because now you're using cloud service provider. Again, the more you have managed services, the less customization, the things you can do. No system level access because you're basically renting the infrastructure. You're not managing the infrastructure. And I think that's about for this paper. And
This paper was originally presented at CISSE 2019, and then they checked this one. They recommended us to submit this one to journal paper.
Oh, you submitted this to the CISSE Foundation?
Yeah, CISSE,
Oh, nice.
yes. So means all of us,
And you're published.
yeah, a lot of students here, for example, we are looking for the director, and we are looking for all over the world. Do you have an external funding grant, or do you have how many students you increase the enrollment, you publish the paper, you present it, within last 3 years usually. Yeah.
I get all of the experience and stuff like that, but how does someone who wants to become a director or something get external funding grants?
Looks like if you look at their report, then you can see how much they brought money to the university. For example, so I have first time I started with a small money, even internal competition, $9,000, $1,000, travel money sport, and then submit this one to the NSA, National Science Foundation, or Navy or whatever. First time I got $100,000 in Texas, and then I come to the here UW. I applied for NSA, National Science Foundation. I got $300,000 for 2 years, and then we did a scholarship for service, $1.25 million later, $500 million.
So you're trying to prove that you have a return on investment to the economical growth by
Most of the top university USA professors, they accept the person. Usually, if you hire, looks like if you, for example, I was in UW Tacoma, right? Already I brought a lot of money for last 10 years. Means already they paid my salary, then they want another money. It looks like this time we did Amazon apprentice program. I brought $0.375 million a year. Then university is so happy they are taking more. This is a business, right? Then that's the 50% university got it. That's why they gave it a full kind of sport hour 6 TA, and then they gave another budget. They gave it 3 TA. In this case, a 6 TA. They have a 25 weeks, and course release. Also another TA, student teaching. Looks like the European, we got it. Looks like, for example, the football team, the first player and second player, their difference is not linear, exponential. You know that? Because the first person bring way more than the second person. That's why they are giving the more money. That's the Pareto's rule, 20 and 80%. You know that, 7x. 20% of employee, they bring the 80% of your income.
Always.
That always happens.
Always.
20% of a student, they are wage and productive than 80% of any other student. That's the 20 over 20, 20 over 20. That's why we have to focus on them. We are treating them. We are giving the higher salary. Why? Already this guy higher than this guy already brought more money for his salary. That's why University of Washington, who is highly paid? The most highly paid employee at the University of Washington. President? Who is that?
Saying highest paid?
Yeah, the most paid.
I would imagine.
Football coaching. Yeah.
They get sponsorship as
President
well.
cannot fire football coaching. If he do that, alumni will fire president.
Because alumni has the board of directors.
They bring all over the money. Yeah,
Coach.
coaching. Yeah. Usually basketball coaching or
Football.
Football coaching. Yes. But instead, they are not doing pretty good right away. They are losing job. They are saying bye bye. Yes. So that's why, he. For example, I asked him again, do you want to go to the doctoral program? Because when we're there, then the guy, usually my friend, then hey, I'm looking for PhD student. In this case, a PhD student that does not mean bring your salary. I'll give you a salary to you. Can you work for me? So totally different game. Most of the year, some students, they are highly paid by university because they have a family. So here, he published the paper, he met that one, visited the university. The guy said, if you want to apply for next year, then I can highly consider you as a research assistant. Something like that. That's why this time, you direct research, they have to come, they have to explain whether they have evidence or if they don't have evidence, how you can bring money to here. Right? They don't have to bring money, but if you know how to do that, this guy can bring the money. So for example, we did Amazon apprentice program, we finished with that. We gave a very good credit to them. The second one we are waiting. But that's not the only our source. Bill Gates Foundation is 3 blocks here. Right? Then also MacArthur Foundation, there are many foundations, also there are DOD, for example, or NSA, they want a cybersecurity training program.
Are they going to make a doctoral program for cybersecurity?
Oh yes, we are cybersecurity too specific. We are making doctoral program, doctor of IT. But also we should have a brand name. CDU does not have a brand. CDU, University of Seattle has a brand name. So how we can make your brand? Publish paper to the top journal. That's your brand name in academia. So he's a student. Before graduation, he published it. That's why all travel money paid by what? CDU. So now you come here, simply don't come here. Have your own goal. And then if you have a research idea, quantum computing, experiment it, write it, do it. If you do that, at a certain point, you are hiring somebody, you will not be hired. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to be hired or do you want to hire somebody? So because of that, if you go to the market, really harder to find the guy who is applying for professor from MIT. Usually MIT guys, they are going to their own business. They know that salary is way higher than faculty salary. Usually, assistant professor at MIT, their salary is $250,000. I know that. Yeah.
Assistant professor?
Yes, $250,000. But this guy has to bring way more than money to the university. Now, then they cannot be tenured. Tenured means all over. This means the
Can't get fired.
yeah, but instead they can go to the other university. So here, all the university always they have this kind of meeting, usually twice. This is a group meeting, but my schedule I don't have a one-on-one meeting. Usually research professor they have a one-on-one meeting. They got checking the progress. So but now very competitive to get them money because government does not want to spend a lot of money in science. They want to spend the money war or whatever. So now that's why I found Amazon. Amazon needed something, so we got this deal. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, so just to close it, actually we kind of get lucky as well because in the CISSE, there's not a lot. I think there's not a lot of paper that publishes about serverless computing.
Right.
So when we were there, like actually a lot of audience, even the one who presented as well, like they were audience like, oh, so what's serverless? So what's cloud computing? So it's something new to the. I mean, it's still not that known a lot
Yeah.
because this is more for the developers.
How long was that paper?
How long? I think it's just
6 pages.
short. It's short.
Nice.
Usually 6,000 words.
That's very cool.
Have you thought about that? Why we chose a serverless computing?
Cutting
Have you
edge.
thought about that?
There's a need for it.
That's your money. Why your money? Companies are saving more than one tenth of what cost.
It's 1,000 times easier. That was it.
And also they can sell also they can generate another revenue by using this serverless computing. You have a very good algorithm, then make this one serverless computing which is running on the cloud. The other guy needs this service. Then this guy is generating revenue. Right? Then I saw that not many universities watching them. Research university, they are focusing on their own fundamental theory. We are technology, so I focused on this technology. Then today, you saw the one team, right? One team, I think the 3 students, I gave a PHP and Django. Then they created the full stack. But what they did, that side, they changed this one to Lambda function. However, Lambda means serverless computing. They level it up. Yeah. That's why when you go to the market, everybody comes from different university, they have a brand name or whatever, okay? Then they are coming to the market. We cannot win the game. Then why we are going to the distributed market? Instead, we are showing whatever they are doing, they don't know this one. I know this one. What is it? Serverless computing, quantum computing, blockchain. All of the things is new technology. Then they want to what? I need your evidence. To show you our product. Then we deployed this one to where cloud.